So anyway, what happens when you lose a job, right? How are you? Especially like I know what's going on and I got myself stuck. I know I'm stuck. Like my back is against the wall. I'm like, so this guy, like I said, started coming every night. Her boyfriend that was over there, and like everything would get sabotaged. The room when I broke into there and saw what was in there, I was like, okay, it's time to go. It's my friend told me, Jackie, you need to get out of there, and I felt it, and I was getting signs too that I needed to go. I needed to go because I was scared every night, and I was sitting in. I'll never forget sitting in the room. I was actually talking. I was messaging a reader that I usually deal with, and we actually speak now sidebar. And I messaged her. I don't know if she remembers it, but it was on her Patreon page, and I was messaging her because she was going to mentor me with some things that I needed, and yeah, so I was messaging her and how scared I was. I was in my closet hiding with my cat. And this was like a couple nights until I decided I packed everything up that night after I was like, okay, no more of this. I'm tired of hiding and shutting lights out and hiding in a closet while somebody pounds on the door. I had already changed like the locks over. So I took like one lock and put it into another one so that, because he had keys, which if I'm paying for a whole apartment, why does your boyfriend have keys? That's even weirder. Anyhow, but if you're subletting, you're subletting somebody's apartment and it's not your own name on the lease, you got kind of have to play by weird rules sometimes if you're doing that. But anyhow, so while I was there, I got Medicaid for my leg when I was there, and because she knew it, she went and had it canceled before I could get any coverage. I was like, wow. I'm like, you guys are just, they were doing it. They were going in. I'm going in. Yeah, so, like I said, my aunt was through so much, and, they were grooming me a lot to do, like, what they wanted. They wanted everything, like, she was so trying to destiny swap and transfer over to what I was, because you could see it too. And you always see the jealousy. You'll see it. You'll see that saltiness sometimes, because she sat there and she looked at me and the one time, and she saw like my effect on people. And right there, she said, she was like, you won't have any problem doing such and such because, and right there, like, yeah, it's admiration, but there's a fine line when somebody's admiring you like that and they're not putting any work into themselves. But the weird thing about it was, like I said, she was saving all my voice notes, every single one of them, and voice inflection. And then I noticed she started speaking like me. Exactly. Like, exactly like my inflections, how I would speak, how I would talk. If I dyed my hair, she dyed it. If I cut my hair, she cut it too. If everything that I was going through, like, even like, here's the thing, when you destiny swap too, you have to go through some of the bad stuff, right? So I'll never forget this. I was getting ready to move, and I had gotten served papers that my family was implicated as, but I think they had that paperwork doctored up. They had somebody send that to me so that I would get out of the house sooner and they could do whatever they were doing behind my back. So I had gotten papers and I wasn't in there. I wasn't named in there as somebody being served. So I was like, all right, you know what? Let me just pack up and like get going and move out of here and get away, because I was dealing with a lot of stuff up there too. And I was like, let me go. And that's when I decided I was gonna move to Rhode Island. At first, I didn't go. Because I went down there and it felt wrong. Something felt so wrong. Like, and I went with her just to scout out the place before, like Thanksgiving. But when I went, like, you could feel like that energy, that bad energy. Like, it's just, like a foreboding, like the nothing, like a nothingness, like a sad nothingness. And I felt that before, and I'm sorry that she feels that way, but it kind of like if you're around that, it transfers onto you. So when I was in the house, I started feeling that way, and she wasn't there. So little by little, what she was doing was she was basically doing what Jacob and Esau She was switching, trying to switch birthrights. So, yeah, so like I said, that girl had not changed much. And when I was living, that's a big, long tangent. When I was living with my aunt, I was paying like I decided I wanted to pay monthly. And I said, I was paying like $800 a month because where I was working at a bar, Gators Dockside in South Chase at the time. I was working there and I was making really good money. It was flowing, so I was giving her $800. And remember the whole thing, we'll go back to the key thing where I didn't have the key and she got mad because I brought my boyfriend. And she was there. She was in the house. She basically got pissed off at me and was like, you can't bring strangers in the house. I'm like, but when I'm not home. I was like, but you were here. I'm like, so that doesn't make sense. So then my grandmother comes in. Meanwhile, my cousin's like cutting school and like having her boyfriend Moses over all the time. Never once did I rat her out. I got accused of what? I got accused of, my cousin, Danny. He was calling some chick in California, spending like hundreds of dollars like on phone bills and stuff. And hi, whipping boy here, whipping girl here, that'd be me. Yeah, so she's sitting there and going in on me. And I'm like, listen, just to like get this like off me, because it was like I said, like every day I was like, I'm making good money here. I was like, I'll pay your phone bill. I said, but I didn't do it. I'm not gonna and then she's like, why won't you just admit? Screaming at me, yelling at me. And then my cousin ratted him out because they were always fighting too. She said, why don't you effing ask him who did it, because he knows such and such in California. And I'm like, I didn't get any apologies, nothing. So I didn't have to pay the bill. But even offering to pay it, my God. So we were having outs. So my grandmother came in and was like, you can't have people in the house. I said, I didn't have anybody in the house. It wasn't like he was hanging out. He came, I stayed over his house, and I was going to work. I was like, so I needed to get my work clothes. I had called ahead, asked her to leave the garage open. She can't leave the garage open, okay? So I'm paying $800 a month for a bedroom, part of a bed, not even like my own bed, part of a bed. I'm paying $800 for part of a bed, and to not get much sleep because my ear's getting talked off all night. So anyhow, yeah, so I'm paying all that. So I figured I should be entitled to a key because I came home one night, and then I used to smoke then, cigarettes, and other stuff too. So I used to smoke cigarettes, and I could not. She would not let me smoke inside the house. Okay, I get it. But then I would have to go outside, which is fine. She started locking the outside door at like certain times so that I couldn't go out there, and the alarm would go off, and they get mad if the alarm went off. I said, what? I'd say, can I have the alarm? No, because what if my husband comes back? Okay, but what? What? Okay, I have nothing to do with him, but okay. He was like long gone. I didn't see him the whole time I was there, but I get the aftermath of trauma. I understand, especially now. I understand the aftermath and that it lingers. Yeah, so that's that poor woman, man. That poor woman, right? So it was like one thing after another. I found the dog when I was out there. We named him Chewbacca. I went to go visit my mom in Tampa when she was living out there, and my little sister and everything. And I wanted to take the dog with me because she was like, no, we gotta find if the owner comes. She was like, no, you can't. And she was like, you can't take somebody's dog. So I came back and she didn't even find the owner. She just basically just gave it away to be rude and mean to me, and gave it away to somebody else. And I was like, to her neighbor down the block, I was like, are you for real? That's so mean. But told me I couldn't take it with me. She said, well, you just left it here. I said, that makes no sense, but okay. I just left it here. Okay.